Hello?
Greetings and a most heartfelt salutations to everyone out there. This is iStream, Ustream, right here on the New York Nerd Show Network television programming. That's what we do here. I am Lord Cash. I'm being joined by BitOfRits and AllThatPat. How
indeed
are we doing?
Fabulous.
Doing great. We've got to see a lot of movies recently in the theaters. We are venturing out, and
well, we have the AMC membership, so we get 3 movies a week.
Yep.
But I will say it's nice that I think all movie theaters now you can see kind of where people are sitting. We are going to shows that are very empty. So,
Okay.
We saw Black Widow, Fast and Furious 9.
And we saw a Hulu TV show movie that was you could have watched it free on Hulu, but we're like, you know what, we'll go.
All right, it was interesting.
Well, in the theater?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What movie was that?
Soul Parade, Soul Concert. It was basically about the 1970s. They had like a thing in a musical concert in Harlem celebrating African American culture.
Okay.
And it was at the same time as
Woodstock, basically.
But there was no press for it, so they were covering it in this documentary.
I like that. For a moment, I thought you were going to say you went and saw Soul Plane or something.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Only back in theaters for one night only.
So here is a AllThatPat and Lord Cash story. It was us when we were living together here in Orlando. We went to one of my favorite places to go watch a movie, and that is Point Orlando, where when I worked there, it was a movie co. After I left, it became a Regal Theaters. And so it was after it became a Regal. We went out, and there was a place at Point Orlando called Lulu's Bait Shack.
Oh, yep.
And we went and we got one of the fish bowls, which literally is a fish bowl with alcoholic beverage in it, shoved with like a bunch of straws and a rubber alligator. Did not have, Loki horns on it, so it was a safe one.
It was safe, yes.
But then we literally downed those fish bowls in 5 to 10 minutes.
It was Bad News Bears. It tasted great, and then it ripped me apart from inside.
So we had 2 movie choices. One of them, which we did not see, was Soul Plane. And I'm going to tell you right now, we chose poorly because after having that much alcohol in our system, Soul Plane would have been a fabulous choice.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we saw The Day After Tomorrow.
Oh, I fell asleep a couple times during that movie.
You went to the bathroom like 4 times.
I may have been sleeping in the bathroom. I don't know.
But he came back and goes, I didn't miss anything, did I? The storyline is still the same.
Yeah.
So, that is one of my favorite stories that whenever Soul Plane gets mentioned, I always go, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Good old
and that's pretty bad when like Soul Plane is your coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Coming soon to Ustream.
I like there's a variant out there of you and I that we went and saw Soul Plane.
And now we are rich millionaires flying to outer space.
Exactly. But tonight, we are going to be talking about Black Widow.
Oh.
No. Someone's shirt. It's not AllThatPat's. So, yes, Black Widow finally has a hit theaters as of July 9th. The wife and I went and watched it. We saw it in an IMAX theater, so it was a little bit larger format and everything. And I believe there was a couple of segments that were actually enhanced for IMAX viewing. And then on top of that, same day was available as a premium access on Disney Plus for $29.99. Now, I'm a high roller apparently because I went and saw it in the theaters. But then again, I'm also a cheapskate because I don't want to take the other 4 people to the movies with me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy this on Disney Plus and save like about $40. And by doing it that way.
And I saw something in the news recently where like they like Disney was upset at theaters for doing that, or or somebody was theaters were upset at Disney. But I mean, I could see that. For Rita and I mean, we've got the unlimited. BitOfRits and I, it was okay to do the theater, but yeah, if you got a bunch of kids, it was almost kind of like, yeah, just buy it on Disney Plus. I mean,
well, the thing is, they've done it with several of the movies all together. And again, here's the thing: this was not it's July 8th. You know what? Let's make this available July 9th. No, they made this announcement like in April or May, way in advance.
Yeah.
So the theater should have gotten angry and upset then, not when the movie came out.
Or they should have done something like, you get a poster or something for going to movies. Like if they, maybe that's how people could have been more apt to go.
Yeah.
But we're still in a transition time. I mean, some people still aren't comfortable going to the movies. We won't go to the movies if we don't have empty seats around us.
Totally understandable.
I mean, when we saw Black Widow, there couldn't have been more than 6-7 people in there with us, and we were pretty darn far away from them. So
nice.
And we wore a mask the whole time. I mean, but we could talk about that obviously another time. But like just covering the movie itself. I mean, I know my overall statement is just that it was way better than I anticipated.
Spoiler warning first, no?
No, of course. I'm just saying the overall statement. I mean, yes.
Yeah. So. Normally, I have a nice little graphic made up. So, but unfortunately, I don't have one made up for the one-off for Black Widow. I can throw up the Loki one where we just did. But again, if you have not seen the movie Black Widow, go rent it on Disney Plus or buy it on Disney Plus because you actually get to keep it. Or go to the movie theaters. Enjoy that theater experience. That's one of my joys. One of the great things that I have, like one of my memories, I went and saw 4 movies in one day. I literally started at like 9-10 o'clock in the morning, and my last show was like at 10 o'clock. I remember it was Fantastic Beasts at Point Orlando in the IMAX theater. I love the IMAX theater. It's great. I love it. So this is not an advertisement for them. I'm just telling you what I like to go watch my movies. So that was a fantastic day for me. So if you have not seen Black Widow, treat yourself to the theater experience. You're definitely going to, get something out of it. People are going to react to it. There's nothing like an opening day movie theater experience. Obviously now with the pandemic and everything, people maybe not necessarily want to do that, but come on. But anyways, this is a full spoiler. You have been warned. We are going to tell you everything.
And even more.
And more. Everything more.
So we're going to talk about the movie, what we thought about it, and we're actually we'll dive a little bit into that post-credit scene that's going to be setting up some stuff in the future. So that being said, you said this was better than you expected.
Absolutely. I love the Black Widow character, but I didn't know how well she would carry a movie of her own. I mean, I think Johansson does a great job with the character. I mean, just in general. But, like, not knowing a lot about the character coming in, whoever the director is did a stellar job of setting up, Natasha's background, understanding, why we should care about her as a character, how she got from being born basically to now.
Right.
She basically, you see that she has a very odd family life. Her parents are basically like secret agents, as we learned from Russia. And they just go from being these, mom and pop next door type of people. And all of a sudden they have to run away from the government because they have to change their life. And you see this big dramatic story unfolding, and you learn that her parents are also not all that normal. I mean, the dad's obviously got superpowers, but the bottom line is they had the great intro, as we could talk about, and then it hits you up with a collage of like with a form of Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit playing, and it just tells you about the whole Black Widow project. So like just that visual, that 10 minutes or so, the opening thing, that just set you up. And like for me, I immediately was hooked, and I'm like, I couldn't wait to watch the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really did.
Reel it in.
It reeled us in.
I agree that it was, it got right to the point, but it was a little bit heart-wrenching right from the beginning, because you're not exactly sure what's happening, but you can see that, the youngest one has no idea, no concept of what's going on, and the older one knows that they're on the run or something. And then as you go, you realize that it sounds like she's potentially been through this before, or at least was aware enough of this, the training program before she went with this family, her fake family. And
right,
it's like this loss of childhood and innocence, like right from the beginning.
Yeah, and when they leave the United States and fly into Cuba, like they try to take the mom away, or something, if I'm not mistaken, and Natasha like literally like does pop 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 and like pulls a gun.
Yep.
Yeah.
On these guys, these military guys, and be like, you're not touching her. You're
they're gonna take the little sister.
I was gonna say it might have been the sister.
Yeah.
So
it's like she's trusting the father when he's like, take it down or whatever, and he's just as bad as the rest of them with not. Right. I mean, it was kind of interesting because later, as it unveils, you feel like this guy is a bad guy, but in his mind, he's doing what's best for them.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it's interesting because I think that it's a little different from my feeling of what other Marvel movies are, where it's like almost looking at the psychology of this family and the family makeup, and that they're all, they were trying to do what's right in some ways. Like, he was proud of them that one, was the youngest assassin, and then that Natasha was part of Avengers, and he felt that it was partly his doing. And the mother the same way. She taught them, there's no, crying. You learn from pain, and they tried their best to teach them how they felt they needed to survive.
Yeah. So the director for this movie was actually a lady by the name of Kate Shortland. And if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the first time any of the Marvel films have been directed by a woman. The other 23, to my knowledge, you've got Kenneth Branagh, you've got, I'm blanking on other names, but that's just one that pops into my head. So please correct me if I'm wrong, if there are other Marvel movies that are being that have been directed by a female. So I think that's a big step to have a female-led Marvel movie being directed by a female. Yeah. I think that's a big step. And in fact, on Loki, the director for all 6 of those episodes was a woman. Unfortunately, she's not going to be back for season 2 of Loki. So hopefully they'll get someone in there that's just as good. But I think that's definitely making strides within, like the Marvel, the Star Wars, and things of that nature. You're getting women directors. You're getting women into the film industry to take charge, which I think is fantastic for that aspect of it. And as far as the one is, it's hard to say whether or not the father like loved his kids or whatever. But one of the things that I saw on one of the social media, his tattoo that's on his arm.
Yes.
There's two things that are listed there, and it's actually Natasha and Yelena.
Exactly. Really, he did care about them. You know what I mean? Because he got that done. And what's funny is, well, not funny, but like throughout the entire movie, the whole family, right? The 2 sisters, the mother and the father. There is so much back and forth with the storyline that they don't care about each other. But you find out they actually really do. And like there's a lot of swerves too, where like you think they're turning on each other and all that.
Right.
And again, like when it's all said and done, it wraps it up in a real nice way, because there were so many like heartbreaking moments where I was just like, oh, come on, like
Right.
please don't screw over your kid again, or don't walk away from your mom. And when it's all said and done, like I was excited. I wanted to see another movie almost with like a new Incredibles, like an adult version of Incredibles, because like they had that dynamic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that to me, the father character was kind of like what you hear some people like, oh, my father didn't know how to show emotion or love or caring. But in the end, the father does still care. I mean, he knew the Elena's song.
Oh, yeah.
And he sang it to her. He was trying to communicate with her, but he wasn't doing a very good job. I think he probably, right, didn't have that love and affection when he was growing up. So he doesn't know how to convey that. So he's trying to show that in the way he knows how, which is, to just do what he can to, I don't know how to do. Like, he felt bad. He went to go talk to her. He didn't know what to say. He told a story that he thought was something to portray his experience in his life, and she didn't get it, but he was trying to connect,
Yeah.
One thing I noticed too is, like, again, it could be the director, like, the new Marvel director that we talked about, or like, so the movie is very heavy at times, especially with this, like, this like family dynamic, more than a lot of Marvel movies that I can think of. But they tossed in some like really like sharp comedy. When it was getting too heavy, the father, who is like this, out of shape, almost disgraced superhero, he will say or do something stupid. You know what I mean? And it takes
still fits.
Huh?
It still fits.
Yeah, exactly. You're just about to cry. The family's falling apart, and all of a sudden he goes, "Hey!" He comes, and it's like super tight belly bursting costume.
And another thing too that he did, he thought he was on the earpiece, and he's trying to talk to Natasha and tell her how proud he is and how much he cares. She never hears that, but again, you're getting these little snippets of like he doesn't know how, but he's trying.
You know what?
What?
She does hear him, because we find out moments later. I didn't think about this now. That was Natasha.
No, it wasn't.
No, they switched faces.
It was Natasha, because he thought he was talking to her, and it was really the mom.
I know, but they're standing right next to each other.
It's the mom. Natasha was in the.
Oh, you're right.
The thing with the bad guy.
Yeah, that's what the mix-up was.
And the little face-off.
Yes, that was unexpected.
Yeah. That was
a little far-fetched, I feel like, though. It's kind of jumping to that. The whole pheromone thing, I was like, really? Okay. But
yeah, that's totally like, okay.
It was the most gruesome scene to me when she freaking smashed her feet. I was like, ugh, I was about to throw up. That was disgusting.
You got nothing. Bam! Break the nose.
Right. I was almost expecting that he actually had done it. But I guess, it was like, I was expecting you to hit harder, but, I guess got to do my things myself. But I would say, pheromones are definitely, to kind of dive into this aspect of it. They're words. It's a thing.
Yeah, I guess what I wasn't sure about at that point was maybe he had put like a chip in her already and we didn't know, and that's what was making her not punch or whatever.
Well, because early in the movie, the sister has to rip out a chip in her thigh. So I thought that might have been like.
Well, I think that was more for tracking.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I mean, wait, what was it then? Sorry. So I thought that the chip, though, was what was also brainwashing them, and then when they got the dust on them. So what was it that was causing them to be?
So essentially, the red powder that gets put in her face, that's what breaks the brainwashed cycle.
So the holiday of Diwali.
Pardon?
Nothing.
So they are conditioned, and I think that they get like. I'm actually trying to think if
I thought it was that the chips, because they were saying that like the one woman that had her leg broken, and she's saying, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, and then she punches herself because he can control them.
Yeah.
So that red powder stuff, I thought, kind of broke the connection with the chip.
But she never got the red powder because Yelena had the antidote, and Black Widow got there.
The woman that I'm talking about killed herself. She didn't get the red powder.
She shoots herself.
She punched herself or whatever, right? Yeah.
No, she had her gauntlet that
Widow, she didn't want to do this and he's controlling me. So I assumed that chip in them is what's controlling them, because it's not just a matter of just brainwashing.
No, because at the very beginning, when Yelena is chasing the one chick that has all the antidote, when she attacks her, she gets the mist in her face. And as soon as that happens, she realizes, oh my gosh, what have I done?
Mm-hmm.
That breaks it right there. And then she takes the chip out so that way, because they're trying to track her, they're trying to move it on her position. And then that's when they actually go to that alleyway, and that's where they find the chip, because that's where she was located. That's how I remember it.
I know that.
And that's why when at the very, very end, when they're having the fight,
mm-hmm.
Like all of the other Black Widows are taking on Natasha, Yelena comes in with a little smoke bomb and does that, and then now everyone is freed from the hold that he has.
But
so
I understand what you're saying. That was the whole thing with the pig. Like the pig is, you can't brainwash a pig just by like teaching it tricks. You have, like they were saying, they implanted something, and then she, like the mother, right, was doing the experiment with the pigs and the implants because she could control it on the computer pad. And then that's what was put into the girls.
There's a possibility that we're both correct.
Okay. I agree with what you're saying, that the red dust is what broke that connection to the chip somehow. But then they pulled the chip out to be completely, like, it's also tracking them. You know what I mean? I think it's a twofold what that chip was doing. Yeah.
So I have a feeling, oh darn, I have to go watch Black Widow again.
Yeah. Because that's what Elena, right? She got very upset because she realized that the mother was what that experimenting that the mother did was what was done to her, and the mother had no idea, that what ended up happening with it, and she realized that the mother was basically to blame, and had no idea.
I wonder if watching this again will be quite the same, only because for me, a lot of the feeling I had going through it was the unknown, not knowing if the characters would ultimately get along. Now knowing how it's going to turn out, I'm going to probably be focusing on a lot of like the ridiculous action set pieces while they're falling from the sky from this gigantic helicarrier that supposedly is in the sky and can't fall to the ground, kill millions of people. Because that was ridiculous, a lot of those things. But the story really actually drove it home for me, to be completely honest with you.
But we live in a world where a giant helicarrier owned by S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, there's more than one. So
is in the sky that literally takes off from the water and just goes into the sky.
No, you're right. It fits in what's already been established, right? Same thing. We have guys that have spider tendencies. You know what I mean? And people that could fly and rocket power ships.
Yeah.
It's just I mean, it was good. It was definitely a comic book movie, a lot of action, but a lot of story and some humor. And I know, like at the end, we talked about it before, but just those post credits, very important to see that this is going to very logically connect to the Hawkeye movie. Where
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Before you get into that, Lord Cash.
Yeah.
Elena is a good guy or a bad guy now? Don't cough at me.
I believe she is a good person that has bad things on her record that potentially maybe dealing with people who may not have such pure motives.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she has no idea what really happened to her sister.
Right.
Correct.
Though her sister sacrifices herself for Hawkeye.
Yes.
So she, in some ways, Hawkeye is responsible for her death in a loose-fitting way. And because she wasn't present for that, she's already vulnerable to that way of thinking. So then you have Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, who is basically saying, like, he is responsible.
Right.
I'm going to help you get rid of him. And it's going to help her, too. So I think the best villains in anything are the ones that believe in their own cause.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right thing.
Yeah. And her character is going to be like that. And when we see the Hawkeye movie, I'm going to feel very conflicted in many ways because I don't want her to die. I don't want her to lose.
Right.
But also as a fan of the Avengers, I don't want, Hawkeye to lose. I don't really care much for Hawkeye. But
he's run his course, right?
Yeah. He's not even a superhero.
He's
Come on.
got to have his origin story movie so we can feel connected with him personally also.
Exactly.
Yeah, so as of right now, looking on IMDb, Florence is credited for 8 episodes as Yelena in the Hawkeye series.
Oh, wait, Hawkeye is a series?
Yes.
I thought it was a movie.
No. This is where in my review, I was like, pay attention to that post credit because that's setting up Disney Plus.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was a show. When does that show start to come out? Do we have a release date?
Do not, but I believe they have confirmed both Hawkeye and Miss Marvel will happen in 2021.
Wow.
So we still have two more live action Marvel series this year.
Yeah, crazy.
This year, Marvel. Holy smokes.
That's only 4 months.
I know. 5.
We're halfway through July.
Yeah,
Well, August, September, October, November, December.
Oh.
That Star Wars is coming. It's all that matters.
So, we've had WandaVision, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki.
They are pumping them out.
What's that?
They are pumping them out.
Well, and I think the little bit of the delay of the pandemic caused, this kind of bunch up. Because here's the thing. We were supposed to get Black Widow last May.
Okay.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out last fall. And so we were supposed to get her story closer to Black Widow. And we were supposed to be introduced to her in Black Widow, then see her carry her character further in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. And because of that, I almost wonder if they rewrote and filmed that post-credit scene where they didn't actually have to introduce herself because we got her name introduction in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I'm also curious if there are people that haven't subscribed to Disney Plus, have not been watching these 3 other series that were like, wait, what happened?
What's her name in this show?
It is Contessa Valentina de la Fuentes or de Fortes or something of that nature.
The third.
The third. Let me, because she's got that mouthful of a name, but just don't call her Val. That's all.
Yeah, I was like, it's Elaine.
Yes, it's Elaine.
And then I told her to do the Elaine dance.
Yeah, it was funny though because it completely. I mean, it surprised both of us just seeing her there. But I think you're a little bit more confused. Whereas I
haven't seen the.
Yeah, I was like,
the Winter Soldier and
I was connecting that. Yeah.
So Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Okay.
Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. So just don't call her Val. Gotta stress that point. So like I said, I'm wondering if because of release order, if they reshot that post-credit scene. I'm wondering if that's going to be something on the special features, if they're going to address any of that. Because I don't know. That's the one question I would have. if I ever met anybody, Yelena or Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Out of 5 spider webs, we're trying to think what we could use. Or out of 10, out of 10 spider webs, what would you give the movie Black Widow?
All right, so I'm going to give my score not necessarily as a individual movie, because for me, this is not an individual movie. This is part of a greater cinematic universe.
So they had to kick you out of that theater, didn't they?
Pardon me?
They must have had a hell of a time kicking you out of that theater. You're just sitting there going like, this is not a standalone movie. I'm not leaving.
Exactly.
It's funny in my head. I don't
know. So that's why I sat alone, apparently. But this is one of 24 on top of a couple episodes of TV. So that's how I'm gonna range this. And again, you've coming off of your Infinity War, Endgame. Stakes are super high, global universe at stake. That being said, this movie easily a 7.5 out of 5 or 8. That ballpark. Right there.
I thought you were going to go way low the way that you were building that up. So, do you know? We'll give our ratings in a second. I was just curious. So, is this in line with how the comic series goes that you know of, or is it?
I honestly don't. I don't know what the source material for this Black Widow film is, and
Widow,
because they did change a couple things. For example, Taskmaster was a dude, was not this person's daughter, was not experimented on. He was kind of, I think he was more of a mutant. That was his skill, was he could watch a fight and be able to mimic your fight style.
Oh, okay, yes. I didn't know who Taskmaster is. Okay, so yes. Okay.
So that being said, that there's been some liberties that they've done with changing some of the storyline, right. And you've also, because it's coming off of this takes place where I thought took place after Civil War, Captain America Civil War. It actually takes place kind of coinciding with it. So if you remember in Captain America Civil War, there's the epic airport scene in Germany.
Yep.
Yes? No? Okay. So basically you had, the Team Cap and Team Iron Man.
Oh, yeah. In the outside where the planes are. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking inside the airport. I'm like, I don't remember scenes inside the airport.
Well, technically, you had Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Spider-Man inside.
But yes, I remember that Ant-Man got really big. Yeah. Okay.
So, that's where he says, way to go, Tic Tac. Falcon to Ant-Man. Little revolution back to Loki. But then...
what flavor Tic Tacs?
Orange. It's always orange.
That's the only. Yes, I agree. Continue.
I would give it an 8 to 8.5. I really enjoyed the movie and look forward to seeing where the characters go from here. Obviously, Black Widow ain't going nowhere, but everybody else, I'm excited to see what happens.
But I want to make this point. At the end of that airport scene, as the Captain America is like flying away with part of his team, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, tases T'Challa, Black Panther.
Okay.
As he's trying to get to him. So at the beginning of Black Widow, they have, there's that comment of saying, you attacked the king of Wakanda.
Okay. Yep.
And right after that, because Rhodey gets hit by the Vision Blast or something like that, and he pretty much falls to the ground, injures himself or whatever. You have Black Widow and Tony Stark having a conversation, saying, you what have you done? Are you make sure you're on the right side of the law, whatever. And they say that T'Challa has told Ross what you did. So that is how they know that Natasha attacked Black Panther, because T'Challa told Ross that that's what she did. And that's why at the beginning they're chasing her.
Which one's Ross? The guy that called her on the phone that had the...
Yes.
Okay.
So in the Hulk universe, you've got Betsy Ross.
Oh, she makes great flags.
Betty Ross. No, wait, is it Betty? It's Betty. It's Betty, not Betsy.
Oh, that is.
Betsy Ross made the American flag. Betty Ross is in that movie.
Good old friend of George Washington.
Yes.
Betty Ross is Bruce Banner's girlfriend, who is the daughter of Thunderbolt Ross, General Ross. So we don't see her except for in the Hulk movie. But anyways,
what if you didn't see the Hulk movie? Do we not see her at all?
Then you won't know who she is. But so that's where like his character comes in. We see him in Civil War and in Infinity War Endgame. We kind of see him come back. So that's kind of a nice little moment there. But that's what you said. That's how Black Widow is set up and why she is now on the run, which I didn't realize that, because again, I thought this was like time after Civil War that she had done something, but no, it's like literally it's because of the airport scene in Germany.
Right.
So basically, as Tony and Steve go off to Russia to take care of the Winter Soldier project, Black Widow is on the run from General Ross doing his little thing. And then that's when at the very, very end, when she gets the basically the Quinjet looking type of I want to say spaceship aircraft.
Right.
She's going to go meet up with Steve so they can go break everybody out of the raft that you see in that kind of at the end of the movie.
Right.
Yeah, she said
Civil War.
Break some friends out of jail.
Yeah. So you don't see her technically in Civil War helping Steve. You just see Steve on the raft getting ready to break somebody, like breaking Falcon out.
Right.
So that's basically how they get out. And now are on the run for Infinity War. So I thought that was kind of cool, how that kind of interweaves and smooths together.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you said at 8 to 8.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd coincide with that.
Do you agree with that?
I do.
All right. So since I was a 7.5, 8, you're an 8.5, 5, we'll average out to that 8.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Which again, I don't think we've had a bad Marvel movie realistically since Age of Ultron. I know a lot of people don't like that one. Gets dumped on a lot. Iron Man 3 gets dumped on a lot. Thor 2 gets dumped on a lot.
Is that the one with Fat Thor?
No, Fat Thor is in Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen.
He was like, what's the father's name? He's like,
Odin?
what was it?
Odin?
Yeah.
No. The father in this movie, in Black Widow.
In Black Widow.
Oh,
Red something, right?
it's Red Guardian.
Red Guardian. Yeah. He's like Fat Thor when he comes out, bringing it back around.
Yeah, no, he was great. So
awesome. Now we have another thing that we're going to be doing. It's very prominent right now. It's on iStream, Ustream. Tomorrow breaks a new show, Masters of the Universe Revelations on Netflix, and Lord Cash and myself are going to be doing
don't look at me.
Yeah, we're going to be doing like a live right on the ground. We'll do a coverage of episodes 1 through 5 and 6 through 10. Correct?
Yep. So my goal is to wake up in the morning.
Mine too.
And
burn through episodes 1 through 5. Stop.
Drop and roll.
Exactly. And then around the 12 o'clock noon mark, Eastern Standard Time, reconvene with all that Pat and talk about these first 5 episodes of Masters of the Universe Revelation. It's part 1, so this is part 1A, I guess, because we're breaking up the part in it, and then we'll talk about those. I'm gonna go back and watch 6 through 10, and then come back a little bit later in the day, maybe around that 4 o'clock mark, and hit up kind of wrap up what's happening on this part 1 of this series. If you're not familiar with it, it is being spearheaded. I believe executive producer is Kevin Smith, the guy from Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob. Just a geek, a sweaty geek, all in all the way around.
Sweaty geek.
Oh, he's sweaty, all right.
Kevin Smith, if you're watching this right now, we'd love to have you on and all of your sweaty man meat.
That is a tribute to someone by the name of John Schnepp. He passed away a few years ago, and that was his term when things get really geeky and nerdy. It's sweaty. So
I guess that's not as random then. That was like,
no. That was my little tribute, because he popped up on my Facebook feed that I was like, oh man, he was a good guy. But anyways, definitely check it out. I believe all 10 episodes are going to drop tomorrow on Netflix. If they don't, that's going to be really going to put a hindrance in our plans for tomorrow.
Yeah, we make it up though.
I don't know.
Orko taught He-Man arithmetic while Tila was making muffins in the backyard with Tila. I can't even make it up. Anyway, I hope it's on there tomorrow.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention about Black Widow before we kind of wrap things up. Yeah, I don't remember.
Good movie though. Definitely go check it out. Like we said, you can watch it in the theaters, or you can get it on Disney Plus Premiere with the $30 fee to kind of basically buy it and keep it as a streaming.
Yeah. So yeah, with that, you add it to your library for however long until it gets added to actual Disney Plus for free for everybody. So I've done that with a couple of the movies. And again, who doesn't like rewatching some movies? Especially the Marvel ones. Never know what you missed.
We might do a special bonus episode ourselves with Fast and Furious 9. Fantastic movie. Just saw that last night.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Well, the nice, wonderful thing about the New York Nerd Show is this is not the only show you can watch. We have shows every single night at 8 o'clock, schedule permitting. So right now, you are watching iStream, Ustream. This is where we cover things that are happening streaming-wise, whether it be on HBO Max, Netflix, Disney Plus. Little thing for you. There's a show on Apple TV. If you have not seen it, it's called Schmigadoon. Fantastic. Right now, there's only 2 episodes out. The third one will come out tomorrow. But basically, you've got 2 people that get stuck inside of a musical. It's an all-star cast. Check it out. Over the moon, over the top, zany. So it's really, really cool. So that's my little sideways plug for an iStream, Ustream.
Is it part of the Purge series?
Quite possibly. For the Purge Schmigadoon. Friday, tomorrow, we will also have an episode of Funko Royalty. I believe I got a box over somewhere in this mess of Funko-ness from Pop in a Box. I promise you, none of them will be from the Miles Morales Spider-Man video game. So check us out tomorrow when we open up those. Saturday, mail call, mail towel. Things we get in the mail, we're going to open up those. I believe on Saturday, we're going to be opening up a Fallout crate from Loot Crate. And we'll have a special guest who is my resident Fallout guru. So they will be joining us as a special guest Saturday night. I just need to tell them that they're doing this. Sunday is Call of the Wild. When we go out into the real world. We'll buy stuff inside stores, and then we'll bring it back, show you what we've gotten. Monday, Crazy Card Collectible, we'll open up all those retro trading cards to show you what we've got. Tuesday, Slam Nation Wrestling, where we talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And then Wednesday, we have the game room where we play video games and you get to watch. Cool stuff.
Good times.
Great oldies. So, did you like Black Widow? Tell us. Let us know in the comments down below. What is your score? We've averaged out to about an 8.0 Scarlet Stingers. Those are things on her wristband. So we'll go with that. Or Taskmaster Shields. I don't know. We can create whatever scoring system. But how did you like the movie? Did it pan out to what you expected? Was it better than you expected? Have you seen all the MCU movies? Are you up to date? What about Disney Plus? You watching those too? Let us know what you're thinking about that, all this stuff. So, and of course, check out all our shows. You can find us on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. We've got over 200 videos in our library as of right now on YouTube. So if there's something you've missed, something you've been desiring, go back, check out our library so you can see us grow over the last 8-9 months. You can see all this stuff grow out and everything. But that being said, we do thank you for joining us here. If you've liked this video, make sure you spread the word of the nerd. Tell your family and friends about us, because we like the love and we like to love you all in return. Exactly. BitOfRits, anything you'd like to say before we head out for the night?
Thanks for watching. Right
on. AllThatPat, what do you want to say? Do you want to add something?
9 plus 6.
Oh my goodness.
All righty. That being said, we thank you for joining us here. And as I like to say, if you can stream it, get out there and watch it. Bye-bye, everybody.
Adios.
Hello.